WRQK.com. If you missed yesterday's program, maybe a show from last week, last month, last year, get caught up whenever you feel like it via the podcast that are hosted at WRQK.com. If you're more a social media person, you can follow along at Lee Stansbury Show on your favorite socials. And your studio's reachable. You can text me at 330-450-7625. There's also the microphone talkback button on iHeartRadio. You'll need that number, by the way, at 8:45, as I do have tickets for the Black Keys. That should who stole from who there, right? This has been one of those things. It's the new Slipknot, the Mushroom Head, right? Like, it's kind of one of those things that's kind of happened amongst those artists. I like both. Jack White's had a lot of great projects. The White Stripes was good. The Dead Weather was pretty good. The Raconteurs is really good. You know what I mean? So I just kind of like that sound. I'm kind of into it. So we'll get you into the Black Keys. We'll do that this morning around 8:45. Also, it's Tuesday, so we know 9 a.m. I'll give you New Year's Tuesday. We'll vote accordingly here. As I have new Kate Hudson, Live Forever. And I looked. It's the Kate Hudson you think. I must have been under a rock because I didn't know she was doing this.
You fucking asshole.
I'm not sure I would have known that was her. Doesn't sound like she's got a bad voice. And like, this is one of those things I find interesting about entertainment is like people are always so shocked, right, when somebody who can do one thing can kind of step out and do the other, meaning she's mostly known as an actress. But like singing is a part of like getting a lot of parts when you're a kid and community theater and plays and all that stuff. It was one of the reasons why I was into the community theater thing as a kid. But they wanted you to sing a lot, and that's not my talent at all. I was into maybe trying some acting. I was into it, but it was like, nah, dude, I'm not standing up here singing songs, right? Like, I'm not doing that. It's just not part of my talents. And so I got kind of dissuaded from that industry because of the industry. I mean, it was community theater for crying out loud. But I just kind of I got turned off by that. So I'm not shocked when I find out that, like, a band member can paint or something else creative, I guess is what I'm saying. Is that, creativity is drawn to creative fields. And so I'm not necessarily shocked by that. I didn't know she was a singer. I didn't really know anything about that. But that's new Kate Hudson, Live Forever. We'll give you the rest of that. I also have new Beyonce, part of that new album she's put out that's got everybody up in arms about it. Apparently she's enlisted the help of Miley Cyrus.
Do that to me.
This is, I guess, second most wanted. There's the Roman numeral here. I thought it was just most wanted. It's not. Apparently it's second. This is Beyonce and Miley Cyrus, most wanted here.
Okay. I need to make two separate withdrawals from my checking.
The Beyonce and Culture and what's that?
Yeah.
There's Miley.
$625 for the first.
Now I can kind of find Beyonce to be a
And
little
$300 for the
sometimes with
second.
what she says, but like the woman can. I'm gonna say can sing, and people will be like, "Oh, you're in it, 14 summer, right?" Like, and they're gonna get all up in arms about it, and all beside themselves about it. But like, yes, she can. Weren't singing that part together. I almost wish they would go back and forth with that versus like having the vocals on top of one another like that. That's just a preference thing. We'll give you the rest of that for New Tour Tuesday coming up at 9 there. We'll start that. Also, to round us out, I have new stuff from a band called the Exes. And I didn't know they were still a band. They had a half of a hit in the mid-2000s with this song called Ugly. Remember this one? And they're back with another one called For What It's Worth.
For what it's worth, I had to fail to break through. Had to lose it all to do the best I could.
Sounds pretty good. I had no idea these guys were still around. We'll start New Tour Tuesday at 9, and like I said, we will round out that segment by giving you the XCs, their new one, For What It's Worth. Also this morning on the program, Steve-O tells Bill Maher, sorry, no, I'm not coming to do your podcast. Sorry, no thanks. Now, Steve-O wanted to do it. He asked Bill Maher for one change, and Bill was immovable on this, and I don't quite understand it. I don't get this at all. I would have made this change for Steve-O. I don't understand what Bill Maher's sticking his heels in the ground for. We'll get to that. We'll do that coming up at 8 o'clock. Also, like I said, at 8:45, get you into the Black Keys. Then at 7, there is a video that's gone viral over a DoorDash driver stealing a cat. But did it really happen, or is this another online hoax? We'll take a look at that. Also, in New York now, another couple is saying, yep, we got squatters in our townhouse. It's a $930,000 home. They've been in it not long enough now where we are spending $4,000 on legal fees, and we're being told by the local government, pound salt. That's, sorry, they're in it. It's going to be hard to get them out of there. We're going to take a look at the squatting issue in New York because get ready, this is coming to your neighborhood too. We'll get to that coming up at 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
If you
Have a
leave,
good day.
you'll miss this on the Stansberry Show.
All right, so a lot of you don't want to buy a Tesla because of how much you hate Elon Musk. But it turns out that's not the only reason not to buy a Tesla. We'll get into this next here on Rock 106.9.
He was the most hated man in America. And then Kanye came along. Ah, thanks a lot, Kanye. The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
Might have to change that one to Diddy, not Kanye. Welcome back to the program. 8:45, I'll get you into the Black Keys. That show in October, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on that. And I'll have tickets for you all week. All right, a lot of people don't like Elon Musk. And I understand. He has said some things over the last years. And that one's a little out there. Not everything he says is crazy. And I understand why people can get annoyed with him. The media once upon a time loved him. He was the darling of the media, as a matter of fact. They couldn't get enough of him. He was brilliant and a genius and an innovator. And then he told them, yeah, I don't like who you guys vote for, dude. I think I'm going to start voting this way. And they were all like, the real reason why Elon Musk's never invented a thing, right? And they all just kind of changed their tune on it. And then since that happened, he has then noticed that that goes down, and he has went out of his way to welcome more of it in. That's why some people like him. It's why other people feel like he is reckless. So there are people out there that refuse to buy a Tesla because it's Elon. And I understand people have the right to spend their money with who and with whoever they may not. That's fine. I'm okay with it. It's why I've said if I were a CEO of a company, in control of a company like that, I would never say anything ever again. I wouldn't want my board members to have social media. I wouldn't want my production staff to have social media. This is about the product, nothing else. I've been saying this about American business for not 10 years, but for multiple years in a row now. I don't care about your board of directors and whether or not they're going to heaven. I don't give a damn. Quit telling me why the company is good. Tell me why the product is good. I'm the consumer. I want the product. I don't give a damn about your board of directors at all, not even a little. Make the product good, put it out at a price I can afford, and you'll probably have me as a customer. Let's not overthink all of this. I bring it up because a young man bought a Tesla. And it turns out he hates it, not for anything related to Elon Musk. He hates it because it's an electric car. And because it's not really a car at all. It's a data collection center you're riding to work in. That's what it is. Teslas are that's a data company giving you a car as a reason to get more data from you. So the guy downloads the Tesla app. because that will help you unlock your car, because apparently that's really important to do from your phone versus a key fob. And he discovered that his wife can see everything that happens in that car through the app, and you can't. He says, if you're interested in buying a Tesla, just be aware that your partner can see your location on the Tesla, meaning where the car is, as well as how fast you drive, if you're parked, where you're parked, and apparently through heat mapping, it can tell where you're at in the car. So apparently if the car's parked at, like, let's say this park, right, and you're parked in it, can tell if you're in the back seat of the car. And he says, yeah, man, cars are getting too smart these days. They kind of are. Now, all of these programs and all of this stuff it does is sold to you on, you can protect your children with it. You'll know if your kids are speeding. You'll know if your kids are necking, right? You'll know. And so they sell you, and this is what I always say, man. Everybody sells you on the convenience fee. And they sell you on the benefit to you. And this is how the human mind works. Cool. I want it. Cool. I need to be protected from myself. Cool. Help me. Cool. And we never think about what's coming on the other side of it. Now, you shouldn't be cheating on your wife. And if that's only problem with what data is being collected from you while you drive, then who gives a damn? Don't cheat on your wife and you don't have a problem. And I can understand a parent wanting to see what their kid is doing behind the wheel of a car. As a matter of fact, I can tell you from my own experience, once upon a time, after just recently getting my driver's license, I actually passed my mother on the street on the way home and didn't realize it was her. As soon as she walked into the house, she grabbed my car keys and told me, you don't get these for another month, because she saw me do it. Now, if you could just open your app and you could see your kid do it, that makes it easier for you to police what's happening there. So I understand people wanting it. But I can't be shocked that people are like, I don't like how much this stuff watches me. Because I don't like it either. I've said it about the streaming apps. Year-end review. This is why you... Dude, don't tell me. Don't remind me how much something is watching me. I know it's not a guy named Bradley with a number 2 pencil writing down everything. I know that. I know it's just an algorithm. But don't remind me how much you're spying on me. I also kind of like the mystery of, I wonder what I listened to most last year. I don't need to know what it is. That's a question I don't need the answer to. I like the wonderment of it. I like just... This is part of this experience. It doesn't necessarily have to be calculated into every experience forever. More and more car companies, by the way, quietly are pulling back from electric production. Like a lot of them are. It turns out the customers don't really want them as much as they say they do. I know Canton just bought an electric vehicle. But like a lot of consumers aren't necessarily all in. People are finding out the horrific nature of what happens when you replace a battery in it, how often you have to do that. And so I think this is one of those things that people kind of rush to initially, and then in the end, people are going to be like, nah, I don't really, that's not really what I'm looking for. I don't like the idea of a car that can deliver itself back to the dealership if I miss a payment. Tesla app told it this is where it's supposed to go, so it's their car now. Right? Like, are you kidding me? I hate the idea of that. I don't really like being watched. I don't really like being, surveilled constantly. I'm not into it. I also don't see a benefit. I don't see... Now, I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm saying for Dan Stansbury, the consumer, I do not see the benefit of the electric vehicle for me. I don't see what I get that is like, okay, this is worth the extra money. This is worth all the spying. This is worth the more data you're going to collect and pass off. And literally, you're allowed because the purchase agreement says you're allowed to do it. And so, because nobody ever reads that. Absolutely nobody reads that. So I don't know what the benefit of a car like that is for me to give up all of that. I've always said the car is a very American experience to me. And yes, I drove a Honda on the way here. But what I mean is windows down, music turned up loud, driving a little too fast, that freedom feeling that we can just keep going west, man, as far as it'll go. Just keep driving till you hit the ocean. It feels like a freedom experience. And the moment you put a data collection center in it, that's all gone.
Back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9.
I got new Beyonce and Miley Cyrus for New Tour Tuesday. We'll get to there. 2 Most Wanted there. Name of that. We'll get to it. Also new X's too. They were kind of like a one-hit wonder from like the mid-2000s. Not even really a full-blown hit. They had like a half of a hit. I actually thought they were better than they were received. I was shocked to find out they were still together though. So we'll give you some of that. We'll do that coming up at 9 a.m. All right, so I stayed up a little later than normal last night because I wanted to watch something. And that was Iowa and LSU in the NCAA women's tournament. Now, I've said for years that I will watch women's sports, and I don't have a problem with it, right? I have watched the LPGA for years. I watched the college golf tournaments, both men's and women. I like the game. And if you can stick it to 6 feet from 150, that's impressive to me because I like the game, right? And so I'll watch it. I don't watch a whole lot of other professional women's sports, if I'm honest. Although you get me a good women's UFC fight, I'm in. Ronda Rousey, let's watch this, right? Plenty of those fights have I watched. And I'm all into it. I don't want to watch a man beat up a woman in a cage. That's a whole separate argument. We don't necessarily need to have it right now. But I'll watch women compete. I like watching people compete. I think it's some of the last great television there is. Now, a lot of people will tell you it's scripted and all of this, but, you know, those people are dopes. They literally tell you they have the whole thing. I know for sure, buddy. It was Vince. I know for sure, buddy. And then never bet it to win money, though. Like, you know for sure what was going to happen. You have the script and you're still a coward and won't bet. Oh, my God, bro. Way to be a pussy. Way to be the biggest pussy alive. But, like, let's not spend all day on that. But this game last night did not disappoint. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. 94-87, Iowa wins. A lot of storylines going into this game. For LSU's coach, Kim Mulkey. She can be a little loud with her players. She can bark. She doesn't really take anybody's, mess. She'll get in your face about some stuff. And I don't mind that. I kind of like when a coach lights their players up a little bit because, you know what? They need it occasionally. Especially, people have talked about this forever. I'm not the first one. Basketball culture in America is kind of broken. It's too star-centric, right? And you're literally told you're a star from this is more, I'm talking AAU, NBA stuff here, but you're told you're a star when you're in 6th grade. And then everybody kisses your feet until you become an NBA player. And so the moment they get any little pushback, it's like, this guy hates me. And it's like, no, this guy wants you to be better. There's a difference in challenging you and hating you. Those are wildly different things that have been conflated today, right? So many storylines built into this. Who's better, Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark? Right? I guess we'll see when the careers are over. I think when you start talking about just their college career, well, Caitlin does seem to be getting, the records done. Now, Angel won a title. She's got that hardware. She's not going to get it this year, obviously, as they lost last night. I think one of the bigger storylines is these two teams being in the same region. Like, that kind of bummed me out. The finals are in Cleveland. I got to be honest with you. If you tell me LSU and Iowa are playing in Cleveland for the final, I'm going. Like, dude, I'm finding a ticket and I am going to that. That's one of those moments. I want to be there. I was there for that, right? Caitlin Clark was impressive last night. I posted. I was like, this woman's fantastic television. Like, you can't take your eyes off of her. She's Steph Curry. You have to guard her at the half-court line. She's buckets from anywhere in the gym. It's unreal. The fadeaway threes, all of it. I mean, it was like, man, dude, she can really play. I'm not saying that like, oh my God, I'm finding out for the first time today a woman can play college basketball, since I'm related to a female college basketball player. And so, like, I'm not finding out for the first time this morning women can do this. Literally, I have a niece who plays college basketball. And so, and I'll be honest, that's another reason why I was like, all right, I paid more attention this year. Caitlin Clark said, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that the women's tournament's is a bigger deal right now. I'm paraphrasing here a touch, than the men's. And I heard multiple broadcasters make this point, and I think they're right. It's not necessarily that people are enjoying the women's tournament that much more than the men's. It's we have stars whose names we know. You know Angel Reese's name, whether it be, they can't see me or some of the other things you don't like about her, whatever the hell it might be. Let's get out that cloth and buff out that dog whistle a little. Don't forget to blow into that one. And so some people don't like her over some stuff, right? And yeah, she's a kid who has said some things in the face of some, stuff that wasn't great. And it's like, but I mean, come on, dude. Welcome to athletes and being athletes. Welcome to competitive people. She said the other day, I don't hate Caitlin Clark. I don't hate her at all. But once we get on that court, I don't have friends. We're enemies at that point. That's what Michael would have said. That's what Braun would say. That's what Durant would say. That's what they're all going to say. Because welcome to competitive nature of sports. That's what I want her to say. As a matter of fact, that's the best thing she could have said. I don't mind Caitlin at all. But when we're playing, I want to beat her ass. That's exactly what I want athletes to be. That it's not about the person. You're on the opposite team. You must be defeated. That's exactly what I want. I'm interested to see if Caitlin Clark's, I'm going to say, this phenomena of her celebrity is the better way to say it. Will this, because it is equaling ratings for this product. It is. You can't get tickets to her games. The ratings are through the roof. People are into this young lady. I'm interested to see if this transcends to the next level. Can she get people to care about the WNBA? Because let's be honest, can she turn people into a WNBA fan? I've said I'm not so sure because I think the games are different. NBA, they play at the rim. Yes, Steph Curry's shooting threes and all of this, but like the dunks are part of the game. The alley-oops are part of the game. You just don't see it as much with the women's game. They don't play at the rim at the same way. And so I want, as a matter of fact, Shaq has said in the WNBA, maybe what they should do is lower the rim so they can start to play it. I think we're getting a little crazy there. And I'm not sure I would make massive changes just to see, and then because you don't know for sure that's going to lead to ratings. Can stars drive television numbers? Is Caitlin Clark's phenomena, is her celebrity, is it big enough to drive ratings at the WNBA? I'm curious to see that. I'm suspicious it won't. I think a lot of the attention right now is over the fact that these games, especially in this tournament, what are they? They are win or go home, which drives interest. I think basketball and baseball have a little bit of a problem here. It's a lot of games. You play multiple times a week, and people don't have the attention span for that. 82 games in the NBA season. It's like, Jesus, dude, just pay attention to the last month of the season and get caught up. That's kind of what makes football different. Every game matters because there's not that many of them. And so if you lose 2 games in a row, it's like, oh my God, dude, what is happening in New England? You lose 2 games in a row in the NBA, they literally get on the air and tell you, well, I mean, they had to fly yesterday. You expected them to win?
We would have them drug tested, but why waste the money? The Stan Scary Show on Rock 106.9.
9 a.m. this morning, New Tour Tuesday gives you a new Beyonce featuring Miley Cyrus, new Xyz, and Kate Hudson. All right, sure. Absolutely. I was talking a little Iowa LSU from last night. Stayed up a little late last night to watch that game. Glad I did. It's a fun view. I did not stay up for the later game. I did not. I was like, all right, I'm going to bed, right? And, you know, she had one of those performances that kind of helps cement you, right? Now, like anybody else, she's going to have to win this year. She's going to have to win the title and all of that, right? But she played pretty damn good, and she is fun to watch. I think LSU's got some players that are fun. Angel Reese is a fun watch, too. Like, she is. Like, I actually like watching those two compete against one another. You know, a lot of people said, imagine these two on the same team. Well, I bet that's what a WNBA owner would want. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're going to sell jerseys like crazy. You're going to sell tickets like crazy. If they were on the same team, oh, my God. I think for competitive balance, I would almost rather have them go to, like, rivals. Right? And then now all of a sudden, I got to watch this game. Right? I got to see this. I got to see who gets the better of this. You know, but I talked about that game last night, and something happened that I did not mention. And so I got, you know, what I always get, are you afraid? Are you a coward? Did I, Heartless, tell you not to talk about it? And so it's like, dude, are you kidding me? Everybody in the world is talking about this. You think they told the Canton Morning Show not to talk about it? Come on. So what I'm referencing, if you don't know, is that LSU, and this has kind of been standard for this team, which are those two things. There isn't. Had they left the court before the national anthem and Caitlin Clark throws up an egg yesterday, LSU wins on the court for the anthem. I think the only impact you have there is, well, crowd noise is going to affect games. It does. It can, anyway. Let's say it that way. And it did appear as if that crowd last night did not love that. And did not love it. And they were on LSU. Is that a large cross to bear for a young person? Young athlete? Yeah. Yeah. It's not the first time they've dealt with it. And they knew they were going. If you want to tell me it impacts the game that your competitor is like, oh, now I'm going to stomp on you. If you think this is what you're going to do, now I'm going to stomp on you. Okay. I can maybe see that. I don't know Caitlin Clark at all. We will probably never meet. She doesn't come off like that kind of person to me. That, by the way, is said by somebody who's watched her play like 6 times. So I don't know. She could be. You know, and we've heard plenty of times athletes over the years have used very little things as fuel, right? So maybe it is. But I don't think there's a large correlation between we're not standing here for the national anthem and you lose. Do I understand why people like when a team who does that loses? Yeah, I do get it. I understand why you feel that way. You feel as if it's karma, right? The people who really like when LSU or anybody else, it's not really about LSU, is that it feels like karma. Like this is what should happen, right? I just don't think there's an actual advantage on the court itself. I just don't see that. Also, they're known to do it. Which is why I'm like, is this, I mean, I get everybody's talking about it, but is it really a story? Not really. It's not the first time we have seen this in organized sport, not even close. It literally was a storyline that captivated the sport in this country for 3 years. And I said clearly, multiple times then, I would prefer if people showed appreciation for the country. Do we have our problems? Yes, we do. Is social media highlighting the fact that problems we thought were over are nowhere near being over? Yes, it is. Does that mean the country by and there are bad actors out there? As a matter of fact, I'll give you one from last night with Angel Reese. People will tell you all the time racism doesn't exist. A guy literally said to her last night, "You just got owned by your slave owner." That's not racist. That feels a little racist. And that feels racist, wait for it, because it's racist. Right? Now, the problem is this, though. It as hard as it used to. It just doesn't classified as racist. When sometimes you're just critiquing somebody. That doesn't necessarily mean you're being racist about it. You're just questioning a behavior, an attitude, what a statement, whatever. And because you're questioning this person doesn't necessarily mean that you're racist. It can. It doesn't automatically mean that. But trying to tell me racism doesn't exist when literally 10 minutes after that game is over, one of the first things that gets said to that girl is how happy they are it happened because their slave owners won. That's insane. That's crazy. Like somebody posted, by the way, that's not like a randomized account. Somebody's name was next to that. And they were okay saying that. We clearly still have problems in this country. We clearly do. Now, I'm not so sure the article that called LSU dirty debutantes was necessarily racist. I think it's just alliteration. Angel Reese used to call herself, they called her the Hood Barbie or something. She was calling herself that for a little while. I think there was something along those lines. I think it was a reference to that. But a lot of people really went overboard on that article. It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm not sure I would have maybe written that. I'm not positive that that was like Klan language on display. The problem is that you can sell that one either way, though. Like, you can spin that argument pretty easily. And as somebody who writes for a living, you maybe should have known that. Although now everybody's talking about that article. And so maybe, should you have known that? I mean, maybe the author of the article did know. But I see a lot of people talking about that. It's like, look, do I wish more people would stand up and show appreciation for a country that gives you name, image, likeness money and turns you into a multi-millionaire before you even go play professionally? Yeah, I think this is a halfway decent place to live. Do I think boycotting the national anthem is a decent protest? No. Absolutely nothing's changed from it happening. The bigger protest is not playing the games. But of course, that's never going to be the thing because the athlete wants what comes from playing the games. And so we go through this ridiculous thing where we're going to pretend to have it annoying, is that this isn't really a protest. It doesn't come in October on the second, the point that I just don't think it's a big deal anymore because April Fool's is every day. There's more prank accounts on social media than ever. But everybody has turned into America's Funniest Home Videos. That's kind of what we have all done. There's a reason why that show ran as long as it did, is because people being stupid can be entertaining. and a guy, that's everybody's timeline, you know? And so when we have influencers, if that's what we're going to call it, I don't, as much as it's happening. And so I'm going to stand out in that. All from his Ring camera. Yeah. But this guy has a video of, and it looks as if the cat gets stolen. As a matter of fact, the original poster, OP, by the way, when you see that on social media, that's what people are saying. Original poster or original post, OP is what that means. He says, my cat got stolen by my DoorDash driver. You see the video, he's walking up to the apartment, house, whatever it should be. It's in Las Vegas, I can totally tell by looking at it. And he sets the drink down on a photo of the food without the cat next to it, because that's part of the thing now. I ordered DoorDash for us last night for the game, and sure enough, I got the notification on my phone, hey, this is sitting outside for you. Okay, let me go grab it. And so he turns and walks away, and it looks like he's going to take the cat, but you actually see him put it down. And the cat runs back towards the apartment. This goes viral, of course, because he does cut the video off, and it is left to, wait, what's the end of this? What's the resolution of this? And he talks about how the DoorDash driver stole his cat. Did not block out the driver's face at all, so he would be easily identifiable to the company. And this has gone massively viral. You know what happens now. People lose jobs, people get harassed, oh my God. Never mind the fact that DoorDash deals with the fact that people are upset with them and maybe not gonna order for 36 or whatever the hell the thing is over you wanting to screw around. Now, if you go, he then goes and posts a day later, oh my God, y'all, my cat wasn't catnapped by the driver. He's okay. He just went on a little bit of an adventure. This kid always knew this. He just wanted to go a little viral, and he did it. In the comments, you see people saying things like this. Oh my God, social media is so unserious. Let it go. It's just a joke. Relax. Well, I would. If people didn't job hunt. If we didn't get people fired from things over every little infraction that happened. Yeah, canceling was all good when it was just actors who tweeted something crazy or maybe said something in a 1967 issue of Playboy, and so now the guy's been dead 30 years. Let's be sure to dig this up and drag his ass, right? Like it was fine when it was just that. But this is now every little thing that happens on film, we got this way. That's the way it is. And by the way, you want to go viral and screw around. Why? So you don't have to be a goddamn DoorDasher. Isn't that why? Isn't it you're hoping for the engagement? To lie about that being napped. We'll get this guy.
Rock 106.9.
Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9. 8:45, let's get you into the Black Keys, that show in October. Went on a little adventure. He was trying to screw around, and the problem is that people lose their jobs over people screwing around like this. So I saw a lot of people talking about, like, oh, just, lighten up, take a joke, Francis. And it's like, well, okay, if you stop job hunting everybody until we find out if people are joking, I'm okay with it. But that's not what we're going to do.